hear this.
Well, hey.
Yeah. I was gonna pull the pants down.
That's what I thought you were doing.
I'm trying.
Just ready to get before you drink.
I don't want to get.
This is the pantsless podcast.
I didn't want to get flagged. There's gonna be a lot of.
Oh, to Conor McGregor.
Sponsored by McGregor this episode.
Sponsored
in celebration
by
of his
proper 12.
dominant win.
Cheers.
Way to do it.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Man,
Conor McGregor.
Cheers.
Thank you for the amazing entertainment. Ooh.
I wonder if I'm gonna be more red than the hot ones challenge. I get super red. You'll see.
I'm excited. Excited for you to see.
Did you take a
Marcus
shot?
Agent Glow. Yeah. So I can make a mixed drink now. I thought we were cheersing like it.
Yeah, getting it going, huh?
It's good. Ooh, we can hear all of it.
Yeah, that's not
I
bad.
had my headphones on when I was...
That is not bad.
That's a big glass.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm going to sip on that.
Sponsored by Uber.
Amazing.
I could drive you home. We're neighbors now.
I know, man.
It's not bad though. It's the first time having proper 12.
That's your first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
It's pretty smooth.
It's good, huh?
Conor McGregor was right.
Shit.
Yeah. Goes down
What
pretty
sizes do they come in? What did he say?
The 1 liter, 2 liter. He's bringing the 2 liter to the after party.
I heard he gave up drinking for like 3 months to and worked with
Tony Robbins.
and got his mind right.
Yeah. His interview with Tony Robbins is awesome.
Oh, where's that at?
It's Tony Robbins put out the audio. He didn't put out and they just started putting out the video clips today.
Oh, jeez.
And both those two are savages. I love them both.
Yeah. Well, Miles, thanks for coming back. Round 3, man.
Oh, round 3.
Yeah, cheers again.
Yes, sir.
Planks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Third.
That was awesome.
Wim Hof.
Was that the... Yeah, okay, because the first episode you came on, I didn't even do Wim Hof yet.
Yeah, because you're a little bitch.
Hey, I was out of town. I wasn't a little bitch. Jeez.
Sorry.
I was out of town. Mark has one shot, one swig of whiskey.
Talking like Connor.
Jesus Christ.
It's that fucking flow.
Fuck
The
this
gift
guy.
The gift of gab comes out of you. Fuck this guy.
That's what happens.
You obviously watched the fight on Saturday.
Oh my god.
Live?
Yeah. Oh, so good. I was so excited. I didn't think that was going to happen. But
I didn't either. I kind of thought Cowboy would
Poor
steal it.
Cowboy.
I know.
I don't know, man. I just saw Cowboy in a trailer for a movie. I don't think he's complaining.
Have you ever seen anyone so beat up by shoulders?
No.
Afterwards, he looked like he had been through a war. He looked like he just...
Did you eat some shoulders in training this week because of that?
No. What we joked is every place with heavy bags, all the kids now are jumping into the heavy bags.
It's old. It's amazing. An old move, right? Like...
Well, I mean, that's what everybody says, right? That it was a dirty boxing technique. That's, I guess, what people are saying. But,
yeah.
But nobody. I mean, I guess if it's not, if you're allowed to do it, I'd never seen anyone change levels and then fire him at somebody.
He left his feet like on 2 of them. I think.
Oh
Like
my
jumped
God.
up into it.
I think a lot of people were saying
So
like,
good.
I can't believe he ate the third and fourth one. He was fucking rocked.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna like just sit there and just take it? I think he was fucking rocked after the first or second one.
Totally.
That's why he was taking the other ones. People were just like, why didn't he just stop doing that? That
just
cracks me up.
I like seeing a guy take like 3 years off like that, like, or 3 years without a win, and like he's right back on top of the world like immediately after that fight. Connor, yeah.
He took 3 years?
Well, he hasn't won in 3 years. That's why he had so much pressure on him. That's why he wasn't talking trash.
Well, because he went Mayweather to Khabib.
Yeah.
And then, so that's back-to-back technical, like, losses, right?
And, no, he won that second fight with Nate.
Yeah.
Before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
But that's why he's got the X factor. Those guys just
He
game
bounced
day.
right back.
Yeah, the greatest,
Dude, he's got good whiskey. Cheers, Conor McGregor.
Thank you, Connor.
Yeah.
It's funny, when I was in Ireland, I couldn't find it anywhere.
Really? Wasn't ready yet.
And it says right on there, made in Ireland. And it's I don't know.
They probably hate him.
Yeah. No, dude, he's a celebrity around there.
Just that one old dude. His family hates him.
The guy at the bar.
Like one that took a couple.
Did you see that clip?
Oh,
he was at a bar and he just socked this old dude. And man,
Very nice.
that guy took it like a champ. He didn't even move.
It's
I wonder
nice.
what he said.
It's nice to not see someone like him spiral out of control, because that's where it looked like Connor was heading. Like he might retire.
You think it's because of the Tony Robbins thing?
He mentioned his journey a bit on Tony Robbins. I mean, I think when you have when you're thrust into the spotlight like that, I think it's a tough challenge to not punch people off their bar stools, I guess, every once in a while, because you think you own the world or
the
something.
bus incident with Khabib and and then he lost.
Throwing a dolly.
I think that was for show. And then obviously it was an act. He wouldn't purposely want anyone to get hurt. So I think that was like for show. And then they're like, oh, actually,
that looked a little WWE.
Yeah,
the whole throwing a dolly and some shady security camera in the.
God, Khabib is scary though.
Yes, Russian. See, Latvians.
That's
very similar to. It's similar.
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson versus Khabib. What's your thoughts?
Oh man.
Because you're a jiu-jitsu guy, so this is a pretty big.
What, Ferguson? But he's gonna box him up. Ferguson's got those hands.
That's what they said for Conor, though.
Yeah. Khabib's gonna try and jump in his shorts. Yeah.
And then they'll do Masvidal and McGregor probably.
What does Masvidal says? He says he was like, I knew he was just gonna dive in for my crotch. That's all he does.
I love Masvidal.
I do too now.
Who's the champ right now in that weight division? I'm so off. I don't follow. I don't even know.
170?
I watch Conor's fights.
Yeah, that's what I just watch the big ones.
I remember what's his name? It escapes me.
Usman.
Usman. There you go.
I watched his fight and it was like, It's funny because he's super good, but like if you can't sell a fight like Conor, it's like nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be fair. It's not supposed to be fair. Who's better?
That's true.
It's the whole package.
Yeah, it's entertainment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're boring.
So how fun was the Wim Hof seminar? Did you guys enjoy it?
So much better because I know Mark was geeking out last time. He's like, it's the second time. Like you got to do it again. Uh-huh. And now, I totally get why. Like immediately, it's nice to go in and it's like, well, I already know the format of what's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So I know one guy after one round raised his hand and was like, "Is it all right to have, like? Is it normal to have like a freaking anxiety attack?"
That was really interesting. Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I had that last time, but I didn't raise my hand. I was just like, shit."
Yeah, I had that at the very first seminar, and I didn't say anything. But
same,
yeah.
Right?
And you know what? He's been to, this is his fourth one, I think, of mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
So I have a theory that I've been using that Aura ring to determine what my HRV is doing, and what I.
Whoa.
Damn, dropping
freaking proper 12, dude. Be careful with this stuff.
Hallucinating.
Be careful with this.
So HRV. Mm-hmm. So before you even fucked it all up.
Whoa, dude. What's in this shit?
But yeah, so I'm learning what breath work raises and lowers my HRV. And then just as an indication of sort of the states that I'm changing into. And I noticed that the chest breathing, remember I told you guys just to do chest breathing, which is kind of unique. There's everyone sort of has different ways to show how to do it. But I noticed, man, it starts dropping your HRV. What does that mean? It means like that your heartbeat is becoming more rhythmic. Mm-hmm. That's what it means. And it's for health wise, they say you have a higher HRV, right? And I think that's because your heart's in a more of a ready state, so it fluctuates more. Your heartbeats fluctuate more, and so which means that like you're more adaptable. And I think that's why this is totally my own theory, but I think that's why they say, or that's why it's better to have a higher HRV, like especially a sleeping HRV. That's one of the things that Aura Ring tracks is your sleep.
Yeah.
And but when you do breath work, especially chest breathing breath work, and then do the breath hold, and then you start getting consciousness shifts.
Yeah, big time.
And they feel amazing. Mm-hmm. They feel amazing. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's a bad thing to do, but your HRV goes to in the tank. It like goes way down, which means your again, like I said, it means that your your heart rate is more rhythmic, which is interesting. Yeah, and that was the two difference. So if you do mostly belly breathing, basically the same thing, but mostly belly breathing, then your HRV starts to raise, which is real interesting. So it's like prepares you, but it's not getting us, I think, in the same hypnotic state that the chest breathing is. And so when I told people to focus on the chest breathing, I know that's what brings up the juice.
Seriously, because I think. The first seminar, that's what I did was the chest breathe because I just was like, oh, take a deep breath, and then my chest naturally does it.
Right.
I'm more of a natural chest breather.
Yes.
But in practice, since that seminar, that was like November, I was doing like belly, and then I'd be like, well, why when I'm laying down I can get better results than sitting up because if I'm laying down, there's less muscles and I could focus on like belly breathing a lot more.
Yeah.
But it would still take like 4 to 5 rounds.
Oh, to get to the goods.
And not even the same like changes like mentally at all.
Yeah.
But like it would work.
Yeah.
To some degree, but like this round, I was like, you said the chest breathing, and I was like, oh yeah, let me just try that.
Yeah.
Because I've only been doing belly.
Mm-hmm.
First round, I was like, oh shit. Oh my god.
So you got...
And I was all, okay.
Out of like, because you did pretty much every day.
Every day, I literally can
from the
probably
first
count
workshop.
my 2-3 days that I didn't.
Awesome.
So,
so
during the
easy.
second workshop, did you experience like the new level of like high?
Yeah,
you did.
Totally. And Mark and Leslie,
Big Lou,
who have done it like 3 times. Big Lou were saying
the highest that we've gotten.
Well, the second time you guys were.
Oh
there,
yeah, for sure. Second time was already exponential from the first time, but the third time.
Yeah.
You haven't experienced that yet. It was Leslie, Big Lou, and I. Big Lou was saying like he was seeing colors and shit. Like
whoa.
Leslie and I were getting to the point of like this is too much.
I had my face trembling.
Did you?
Lips were like
Did
felt
they
like
pierce?
Like
when they started to
tremble. Like they felt like they're piercing, trembling the whole time. But my face felt calm at the same time. Wow. I was like, what the hell? For like.
Does that just mean we released more adrenaline through that? Do you think that's the scientific stimulus or whatever?
You're having, I mean, that's not necessarily a cause of the adrenaline release.
Okay.
But I think that that's a real strong chemical change. And I think with those chemical changes, it can be stressful on your body.
Yeah.
And that's when your body compensates with the adrenaline. So
got
it's
it.
not
To combat this stress, the adrenaline has to match that level.
I think so. I think your adrenaline goes up because
it makes sense that way too.
Yeah, it goes up for when you get sick. When you get sick symptoms, right?
Yeah.
You don't know anything. You don't do anything different. But when you start getting sick symptoms, your adrenaline starts to raise,
right?
To sort of make you, I think, sort of make you feel good, or at least make you be able to handle the symptoms.
If you get a fever, people get delirious, you know?
Yeah,
and like
that's true.
2 rounds in, I remember sitting up and going like, you know, the usual anxiety feeling where you, if you're having an anxiety attack, you want to get up and
you have to move. You have to move. You have to leave.
I sat up and went, like, should I get up right now?
I think that's what happened to Dang. She like never had anxiety, but that caused her to have it after the third round. She had to like go.
Right.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I didn't see her leave.
After my...
Then she came back.
Well, we did 1 round, we did 2 rounds.
2
rounds laying, and I sat up and went, took like a breath and went like, what the... I don't want to move. I'm good. And I laid back down.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell was that? But I was like conscious of the whole thing. It was really out of body, weird.
Oh my god.
I think it's important to tell people like there is a physical, like the chemical change is what you say, but there's a body high.
Yeah.
And people, if you're not...
we kind of try and like we don't mask it, but like we don't promote it.
For sure.
Right.
But it's something that I've heard from others where they tried it for the first time and then they freaked out because they weren't expecting a body high. They just thought they're meditating because they've meditated for years or they've done yoga. But this thing gets you have real chemical changes where you can't deny it.
No.
You'll feel that shit and you're probably, if you're not used to that feeling, it could freak you out.
Well, that's why my first time I said this, at the second time I was like, the first time I showed up saying I'm learning to breathe. I didn't know I was going to learn to meditate. So then I had like 3 months of like, oh, here's me practicing to meditate. Now the second time around, I got all the chemical changes and like the head change. And now it's like, now it used to be like 45, like if I did 5 rounds, it'd be like 45 seconds, 50 seconds, a minute 10.
Oh, the holds.
The whole, right, my breath holds.
Yes. So how did this one
And
go?
Never a chemical change. And now it's like a minute 30.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Right.
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Right.
Like 3 rounds and I was done.
Wow.
And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Well, what was I doing for 3 months? You know what I mean? But I was like, I was really happy with the results for 3 months, and then now I'm like at a different level of it.
Well, what you were doing was still making chemical changes, but I think, but you're not making the same. You're not getting the same chemical release. So I think that it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that actually I think that just belly breathing is so good for you because it literally raises your HRV. So I've done these tests for 20 minutes. I've done a 20-minute recorded session with an Oura ring, and you have to be very still with your hand with the Oura ring, like mega super still. Like you cannot, your hand is an anchor to somewhere, and you cannot move it, and your elbow has to be wedged in somewhere. Like you really have to be still. and I take 5 minutes of chilling and getting an assessment baseline of my HRV, and then I do a 8-minute round of breathing and a 2-minute hold, and I do belly breathing to see what it's going to do, and it starts to raise my HRV. My sitting regular HRV is around 50, which is like a little bit on the low side, and I've raised it up to 120 before, and you can just watch this graph, and you can watch it go up from belly breathing. And then when you do the breath hold, it drops back down. It tanks back down. But I think it's a perfect example of what I think that is. They say it's you're at a more healthy, readier state when you do that. So I think that we're making really nice internal chemical changes that are benefit us. You're still getting the long breath hold. So as far as I'm concerned, if you can do your longer breath hold, then I think we've made that change in our body. But then you're not getting the mental changes as much.
Yeah,
almost none.
Almost none. Yeah. I mean, compared to. a week apart, I'm like, this feels like I was doing nothing compared to like doing a lot. It's crazy. I'm sitting here for 5 rounds over, I don't know, like 5 minutes, really. And then I'd be going off to work like, hey, man, I'm pretty happy with this.
Yes.
And then some days were good, some days were bad. And then since the seminar, I'm like, now it feels like I'm here 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It feels like 15 minutes. I don't even know. Like, time is like I'm like looking at the clock. I gotta go. I think it's been like 15.
Yeah.
And it's like immediate, and I'm like, only 3 rounds now. What the hell is happening?
I think there's a learning curve, like anything else.
And your chest needs to you got to break some fascia up.
Yeah, there might be some of that.
Too.
The actual physical changes of building more, muscles to help you breathe and open. Like, you just can't get it on day one in the workshop.
It's
because there's also the whole mindset. You're so like not overwhelmed, but there's so much info you're trying to focus on.
Yep.
For the first rounds when Miles is leading it,
the hour, maybe the hour of science is it's robust.
No, it's all needed.
I love that.
Do you?
Yeah,
it's kind of like there's no way to run a perfect one workshop for CrossFit or Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Yeah,
they're gonna have to. They're not gonna retain. They're gonna take just a little piece, and they need to practice for a while.
Sure.
But the second workshop or their second session, they're gonna be a little more adaptive.
Yeah, the first time I was thinking of the ice like half the time.
That's probably
that's
true too, because I was so nervous about the ice the very first time.
Yeah.
I'm still nervous.
Second time I was like, I don't give a shit. Miles said we could just do 3 minutes and I'm out.
Yeah.
And it's 45 seconds to beat the game, right? It's only 45 seconds.
Yes, that's
and
a big
then
game.
I was like, that's all. It's
that's
gonna
true.
suck.
It's only 40 seconds ish of
that's my own. Yeah, I say 45 to a minute and a quarter.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it because it's like, when is that gonna not suck? Like, never. It's never gonna not suck to jump in an ice bath for 45 seconds and just go, shit. Right. Yeah, and you just breathe through it.
Yeah.
And it was so much easier this time. I was like, 3 minutes is here. All right, I'm gonna get out. I have nothing else to prove. I got into the state. I had a Whoop on. I posted it as like the heart rate was so
great.
high.
That was so cool to see because that's very like.
It was awesome.
That's such a good visual for people. They don't have to know any science or whatever, but they could just see that you're freaking out 130 or something.
Yeah.
And then you're still in the same ice, and it only took 30-40 seconds, and then you're down to 90 or something.
Interesting was Dang said you're at 2 minutes, and I go and like you can see my shoulders kind of drop, and the
it went lower.
Boom, just drops like 10 points. I'm like, just knowing mentally too, like you're 2 minutes. You're already there.
Surrender.
Yeah,
and I've seen people that were. I've seen women are typically better in the ice. Men are more apt at the breathing, but it brings up your anxiety. And women, I think, already have a higher anxiety, so they don't like the anxiety as much. So, but they're better in the ice because they can release. Well, give up. No, not
disassociate.
Disassociate, maybe, but surrender.
Okay.
They can surrender to the ice better.
Got it.
And I've seen some girls that were maybe a little nervous but get in and then take up one big breath. And like, oh my God, you did it already. and
it's true.
Joel said it's like jumping in a cold pool. I'm like, it's absolutely not like jumping in a cold pool.
We were talking about it's not a cold pool.
that your brain's thinking that,
no,
and
it's
I'm
like
glad
razor
you were.
Blades.
I'm like, what?
It's like
There's no
knives.
way it's like that.
But then again,
it's not so bad.
The 3 workshops that I've been to, seeing if I were just to judge, the ladies all did way better on average than the guys.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, even some of them that said I'm so scared of cold or I hate the cold.
I've only seen 2 people not make 3 minutes, and they were both guys. Yeah, that's right. Like,
I think I know 2 of them.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. It's pretty interesting to see how people kind of react to something that's so nerve-wracking. The whole, because it's at the end, so you have to sit there.
Yeah.
And you're trying to.
Thinking about it.
And so you're taking the workshop for the first time. I would assume it has a huge factor of like that's the main event, let's say. So leading up to, you're trying to focus on breathing, but you're probably internally in the back of your mind saying, "Oh fuck, am I gonna do it? I'm not gonna do it."
The second time I was like, I don't give a shit about the ice. I'm listening to Miles talk about chest breathing.
Yeah.
I also took. I actually did want to ask you this from practicing it this past week. I think you were saying too on holds, like you could take a little back in too during the hold.
During the hold, I don't take in during the hold, but right before you clamp down.
Okay.
I tell people to, we used to be. I was kind of taught to let go and then clamp down, and then what if I missed it?
Yeah, that part.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so if I missed it, I was like, maybe I pushed out too much.
Right.
Right. And so what I would do now, and I didn't really want to get real specific with it, but what I do now is I kind of figure out where I landed when I let go, and then I go up a little bit more, and then lock it.
Practice that this week.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
Huge.
Big part. Because I would always go, oh, I missed it.
Yeah. And then you just sit
and
there
then just
like,
struggle for like 15 seconds and then
Right.
take my mind somewhere else and go, all right. Like, you're fine. But then when he said that in the seminar, I was like, oh, I missed that last time maybe. And then I tried it this week, like, like a little, and then get back into a better position, and then like, boom, like I would miss that whole beat of like, oh shit.
Nice.
Like
That's awesome.
maybe I let out too much or something.
You didn't miss it in the last seminar because each one of these have been.
That's what I was gonna say.
I've improved.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love that part though.
Yeah. It keeps getting.
It's helped.
People, I keep having more and more of the room. I can tell. This last one was nuts. My cousin who came, Brian. I've been trying to teach him this stuff for years. And he never, he said he never got it until after that seminar that day.
Nice.
He's like, I get it now. I didn't know what you were trying to say before.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think you need the environment. You need the group atmosphere. You need to be led.
Well, yeah, all those things help, but I think I've just watching people do it. I keep
that's true too.
Fixing it.
Because the first workshop when we took it, then we had a lot of troubleshooting. We can some people can do it. After the second one, there's so many questions, and then I took notes on that because then I was able to focus more because my second one, and so we shared on that, and then the third one. We learn more, but it's not because we missed it. It's just because of the evolution of your practice.
And we both took notes. We're fucking nerds, dude.
Good.
Fucking classic nerds.
Why not?
I know. Evelyn made fun of me. She's like, oh, you would write off the rep scheme. I was like, yeah, I did this time because I like going home with peace of mind.
Well, then you remember it, right?
Yeah.
Then if you wrote it down, you could crumple it up and throw it away. No, you.
She was like, I bet you. I was hoping Mark would have chimed in and been like, I took notes too. She would have been like, I know you would too. Well,
she didn't make fun of me because I made a YouTube video for the group to the sequence.
But I'm all about the notes. I took when I did the seminar with Hicks and Gracie for 2 hours, a 2-hour seminar. He showed so many things.
Oh God!
I left early because I didn't want to bullshit with anyone, and I got to my car and I just sat there for an hour. I just in my car wrote down every single move I could remember that he did, and the details that I thought were interesting. And
dude, where was that at?
That was in Brentwood, California. So it was bizarre. I
feel like that's super rare.
It was rare. I just saw the Facebook post came through on somebody's random feed, and I was like, I got it. It was a couple hours away from me. Yeah, no way, that's impossible.
What?
$200, go there. And
for Hickson?
I called them and they didn't want me to go or something. It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I have to be there. So you can either look at my face, press up against the window.
I'm going.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
I'm gonna be there. If you want money for it, then
2 hours with him, huh?
Yeah, probably even more. He was he was everything that you would expect him to be. I mean, the way he commanded the room. The most interesting, one of the as far as a teacher goes, the most interesting thing was, usually in jiu-jitsu are like, here, do this move, and then change, right? And then you do this move or whatever. Do it twice, do it 3 times, whatever. Mm-hmm. And he said, keep doing it. Don't switch. And I'm pretty sure there was 60 people there, so there's 30 couples. Damn. And I'm pretty sure, because he helped me 6 or 7 times. And I don't think that I was special. I think that he goes around and watches every single person do it. That's why he doesn't make you switch. And then he says switch. Then he starts on this side of the room and he watches every single person and he fixes them.
That's a ton of reps.
Yeah, it is a ton of reps.
Yeah,
but it's kind of a good way. You get a bunch in a row as opposed to.
That's awesome. I think.
I'm used to people like 3 and then you switch or whatever. But then, and then he would go back. And so he just kept, and then, that was it. And then we were done with that move. And then he would just go on to the next one. But his teaching style, I mean, as you can imagine, because, it's been his life.
Yeah.
But his teaching style was unreal. I mean, it felt like he was there with me so much of the time and fixing it for me and like,
wow.
It was just,
That's so badass.
Yeah. I recommend it. If anyone wouldn't be excited, that would be a.
I think it's a black belt only seminar. Shit, I'd be like walking in.
There were a lot of black belts.
Hi, sir. Yeah, I bet there were.
When I looked at him, when I opened the door and looked at him, and he was on his own mat, and there was like a warm-up mat everywhere he was, and nobody was there. He was completely on his own. And I ding ding, the door opens, and he looks me right in the eyes, whoosh, and I was like, oh my god. I like bowed my head.
Am I dreaming right now? Like, what the hell?
Sorry, I didn't mean to bother you.
It was bizarre. It was bizarre. And as my head was down, I'm like, what just happened? Like,
is it okay to look up yet?
Yeah.
Now it's too late.
Holy shit.
It was so awesome. And everyone was treating him like that, right? As you would.
Yeah.
He's a man. Yeah. And then we're on the mat. We're all on the big mat now, and we're warming up. Just kind of, everyone's just kind of stretching, chilling out. And maybe we were on there earlier or something, but it seemed like an eternity. And nobody was talking to him.
Yeah,
nobody was talking to him.
What would you say to him?
What would you say to him?
I have no idea what I would say.
No,
I did. I came up with something.
You would. You
Yes.
freaking would.
And I go over to him. I go around. I navigate everybody. And I go over to him. And I just said, Master Hickson, I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you for being here. I'm a real fan of your breath work.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did he go over breathwork
Yes,
in the thing?
yes, a big time.
But when you asked him, he went over breathwork. Was that part of the curriculum?
We talked about breathwork. When I asked him that, we talked about breathwork for a half hour.
Gotcha.
He started the seminar late.
Yeah.
We started chatting, and I said that your breathwork, because I didn't know his very well at the time.
Yeah.
But I knew of the choke video and stuff, and I've seen a little bit of it. And then he got really excited that I was, because nobody's excited about breathwork. They are. It's starting to happen. Thanks to you guys. Yeah. But then at the time nobody was, and so I got super stoked about it. And he's telling me about, and I told him about the Wim Hof stuff that I was doing, and he gave mad respect to Wim, and as you think he would. But he said, but mine's different. Mine's the opposite. And he told me that Kron, his son, had taken the 10-week course and passed out a few times, and liked it too, but preferred his own breath work, which Hickson joked.
He passed out in Wim Hof?
He passed out doing Wim Hof stuff a couple of times.
Because they're so strong-willed, and they're athletes.
That's true.
So he's probably pushing to the 10th degree, and I'm assuming that's the only speed he knows is just go all out.
The first seminar, I had those jiu-jitsu, those Brazilian black belts next to me, and I was like, that breathing, like I've never heard that before. They were deep breathers. Those were good. Dude, it's so loud.
Those 3 had taken private lessons with me. You sat around 3 people that had took private lessons for me like a week before.
Oh, Brazilian New Zealand. I was like, I couldn't hear myself breathe. Yeah. Like, they were so loud.
They were good.
You should have turned around and said, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Keep it down over there.
Keep it down.
Is Dr. Cook sleeping? He's taking a night-night.
Right, dude.
Okay, so
they're the nicest guys.
On that note, one of the unique things about your workshop is that you kind of meld your background of jiu-jitsu and your experience with Hickson, which is extremely important, I think. And I think the way I would describe it, to kind of simplify it, would the Wim Hof be a preemptive technique, so to prepare you for X, right?
Yes.
And then the reason maybe why Hickson and Crondon, they like theirs better, because I believe that the Hickson method is a during exertion, physical activity type of thing.
That's what it sounds like.
It is. So it's one's performance during, the other one is prepping for whatever performance, whether it's giving us a big talk or a presentation at work, or it's to get you ready for a competition. But because the Wim Hof thing, the Wim Hof technique is not for during while you're running.
No.
It's not while you're fighting.
No. And I've tried to do it while I was...
I tried it too. It did not.
It's not good.
But then I switched to... I was doing this long workout that involved a ton of running and burpees. But I just focused on the Hickson breathing. And that kind of clicked to me as it makes sense, because you need the expansion portion to get rid of the O2 or the lactic acid, whatever. So, anywho, I just want to simplify it. I think it's just that you need both. Because if you do the Wim Hof, because it's a preemptive thing, and breathing is so important, it's your fuel for exercise. So let's say you're rolling or grappling, you don't have that tool anymore.
Right.
So what the fuck do you do?
Right.
So you need something else on the other end, which you teach in your workshop. So is that fair?
Thank you. That's pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it too is they intersect at one point, and that's the neutral zone in your body. So Wim Hof is just above the neutral zone.
Yeah.
And then Hicks and Gracie just push out just below the neutral zone. And the neat thing is, it just got me super excited about the neutral zone. And even since the workshop, I'm constantly learning new stuff. Is that you can change the neutral zone. So how about this? I didn't talk about it in the workshop or anything like that, but let's say you just want to do chest breathing. You can kind of bring your neutral zone lower. Or say you just want to do belly breathing. You can kind of bring your neutral zone up. And depending on the position you're in, especially in jiu-jitsu, your neutral zone changes.
Yeah, if you're being stacked, you're going to be a little higher with that.
Perfect example.
Or you're dying because you just got off a high-intensity bike or something. It's not like your neutral zone's at where you're just sitting around the desk.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you want it? So I think the neat thing is knowing where your neutral zone is in your body, especially if you almost know intuitively, like if you can just kind of feel it easily, then man, that's super powerful.
Can you explain the neutral zone for someone that's never taken a seminar or they took it for the first time?
Definitely.
Because I took the first time, and it took me like a couple weeks to really to sink in, to understand it, because you're like, neutral zone, what the fuck does that mean?
Once you get it, it's a super simple thing.
Now I get it.
Right. But you're right. So in our vital capacity, we have a neutral zone where you breathe all the way in, and then you let go, and there's no air pressure. You get to right there. And there's no air pressure in or out. And so your neutral is a zone. It's not like a particular point, but it's a zone where there's just no air pressure, so you're using the least amount of energy.
So there's no air pressure. That's the kind of indicator of it.
And so you can still... You still have all that below. Gotcha. And then what medicine says, or whatever, that in your vital capacity, you're above the neutral zone is about 60%, and below the neutral zone about 40%. So our neutral zone is a little bit lower, and so that's why we do a lot of chest breathing, probably.
Yeah.
And that's why, too, when you do belly breathing, I think you're just raising your neutral zone up so you can expand more into your belly, which is nice. And so we were talking about when to use what, but I think there's another purpose going on. So if you need clarity and alertness, then breathe in with the belly, right? Well, it brings up our HRV, so that's nice. I mean, we know that we're more adaptable. That's pretty neat. But then when you need to, if you have some anxiety happening, right? If you have something where you're getting flush with whatever the emotions you are, well, then maybe we need to get ourselves in a more meditative state, and that's when we use some chest breathing to get ourselves in
knock it back down.
And Hickson even said this too. He knows how powerful chest breathing is because in his seminars that I started watching afterwards, it was tough to find them, but there's a couple out there now. And he said he shows everyone, breathe with your chest. You start getting goosebumps. He tells you that. He knows too. But
there's a chemical change happening.
Yeah,
or physical change.
Why would you get goosebumps? Something's happening, And so to be able to harness all that stuff, he obviously. But one of the things he did used to say was how he prepped for combat was that he would bring his heart rate up. He would bring his heart rate up real high and then bring it down before the match. And that way, since his heart rate was already high, that way when he engaged with someone, he wanted their heart rate to be higher than his the whole time. So he would try and keep his heart rate lower. And how would you do that? Well, his breath work is amazing. All he's doing is focusing on pushing out. I think it's probably so intuitive for him to keep his heart rate down. But just all the different mechanisms and how they work. If we can get a hold of them and then forget about them. Mm-hmm. Get a hold of them, and then now we own them, and now we can focus on whatever we need to focus on, and we just little preemptive breath work.
I have an opinion on why it's easier to chest breathe is because it's bad posture, right? So anybody that sits with pretty much everybody sits with rounded shoulders.
You sound like a chiropractor.
No, seriously though, I see it all the time. Well, also,
of course you see it all the time.
I see it all the time.
That's what you're looking for.
But also, we've tested it with runners. So if a runner goes for a run, let's say they start out with a light jog, and they get to mile 1 and it starts getting into the mile and a half, 2 miles. Happens? They start chest breathing more. They start using their front neck muscles, their chest, and go. And they get there, right? Yeah. We've all been there on the jog, right?
Yeah.
What a runner should do is fire that lower part of their neutral zone,
really?
The 40%.
Yeah.
They tell them to out and fire their lower abs and obliques is what we talk about in FixFit, and fire that and keep a calmer breath while they run.
Well, how about that? That is a calmer breath, right? Because when you push out, you are really pushing with the lower part of yourself, right?
But you should be able to push and breathe, like nose breathing, or in through your nose, out through your mouth, and keep that slow pace. If you're going for like a marathon, right?
That's like that's a master breath pattern, isn't it? In through the nose, out through the mouth. Oh,
we would love that for like
perfect.
They're 20 miles or whatever, but it's like if you're not a runner and you're training and you're like mile 2 and you're like you're using your neck, your back starts hurting, your lower back starts taking over, and it's like
that's the FixFit part where I'm gonna chime in. It's like once you're breathing with the wrong pattern, because now you're chest breathing, that means your spine is overextending, the T-spine, and then now you're using your lower back and hip flexors, and that's why when people run, they don't feel that
the whole time.
So they don't feel that usually till they get fatigued, and all of a sudden the hip pain starts happening. They get low back pain when they start running. It's because, now we're asking we are always trying to figure out the why. What's the cause and effect? Why did they start having low back pain at mile 3? They probably started breathing like shit.
Breath work.
It could be, and it makes sense because when you overextend, that's what we try to do when we use different types of muscles for like a 1 rep max. But when you're loading your erectors and your lower back, because you're in this kind of breathing pattern every rep, you're not going to be able to use the hamstring and glutes.
Higher risk for injury.
And then, so what's causing it, right? So it could be you start freaking out because it's hurting, and then you get fatigue and you're freaking out because you're not going to you're not going to make a good time, you're not going to finish your race, and then you start breathing like shit, and then your body.
But that's why when Miles is having us laying on our back and he's all, do chest breathing, everyone's like, I got it. Oh, shit. I have anxiety. I have this flush. And it's like crazy. And it's like, because that's easy. But then dropping into that neutral zone and that 40% becomes the harder part. And that's where adding in that Hickson out to like get all of it out, or at least get back. It's really getting back to neutral.
That should actually work. 2 days ago I tried that. We had mini tests and we had 100 bike cals for time. I'm not a very good biker.
Suicides?
Just on you have the assault bike. Yeah, it feels like So it's just 100 cals straight, like a max effort.
I see.
And usually
push it
as hard as you can. Usually you do like 15 to 20 cals is like the max we normally train for. So 100 cals is past most people's training capacity, right? Or exposure. And then so at range, there's like the fastest guy like DJ and DT, their hosses, their legs are 3 times bigger than mine. But they're ranging like 5 and 6 minutes, And then the average was like 10 to 12 for guys, and then like even 15 to 20 for ladies. So then I was like, I'm exerting all out.
15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, for 100 cals. So that's a long race. It's a long sprint. And so I just focused on the expansion, or the Hickson, the exhale that you taught us. And then I felt good, and
into the nose.
I got just breathing out.
Wow, because you're pushing it.
Because I'm pushing. It's like a sprint, right?
Right, it is like a sprint.
And then so I almost got under 7 minutes, which would have been like the third fastest time or something. So I got 7:04. I just remember the last, because I pushed so hard. I remember
that's good.
I was like, I can finish under 7, but then I started feeling like I was gonna throw up. Like it was that intense, when you run up like a 400 around the track. So I was like, well, it's not that type of day. I don't need to push that hard. So I like kind of rolled in the last 3 cals.
Wow.
But it was just that I just applied that breath work to it. There would have been no other breath work that I could apply because I'm sprinting.
Yeah.
If you're going like the last minute of like a hard roll and you have to win a comp, there's no gasping, there's no in through the nose, out through the mouth. At that point, it's that like
that's true.
You got to go.
Yeah.
Well, that's why that's such a gold nugget that he gave us. I mean, I don't train hard cardio very much, and even when I roll, I
because you're at that level where you should be low.
Luckily, I've been doing it long enough that I can.
You're not freaking out when you roll.
Control the guy
like we are.
But I've noticed that Hickson's breath, like when we did our exercises in the thing, how quickly it gets you back. Yeah. Right? When you're holding your breath, that's why I love that. It's such a great test. When you're holding your breath, doing a 1 minute push up, and then it's time to breathe, you push out. It takes 3 breaths. And you're almost back to mental clarity, which is, man, that's a super, super breath pattern to use.
I think the cool part is because Hickson's been doing jiu-jitsu for so long. He's like he is a grandmaster
for so long.
Fighting for so long.
Yeah.
And so he knows the application, which is key. Because that's what we try to talk about. There's a lot of people that are maybe book smart or creating all these making so fucking complicated, right? So we've heard of these, you know, and I follow them too. There's different ideas of performance breath work where there's like three gears.
Yes.
It's like if you go nose in, nose out, and then it's like jog, you're calm. Nose in, mouth out, you're at like that moderate, and then mouth in, mouth out.
Right.
That seems to make sense. But in application, it's really not mouth in, mouth out. When I was doing the bike, it's the application.
Start there, you're not going to last long.
Because if I just focused on the bike, right, doing just all I know and all I was explained, because there's no why or intent behind it, and I just went, okay, breathe in. Mouth in, mouth out. Yeah. That's not the breath pattern. That's not the application. You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying.
It's kind of like, so I'm saying like the application for the Hickson is slightly different from something like that, because when you're actually fully exerting, there's no focus on the inhale. Yeah. Because when you push out, you naturally come back to neutral.
Yes.
So that's different from what I would interpret if I were just someone like looking up YouTube on how to breathe or following a posting. Oh, mouth in, mouth out. So I'm going for a sprint and I'm going.
Right, you can't
that's
do
not
that.
Fucking happening. So I think it's very subtle, but the application part is where I think a lot of people are going to struggle with if they're not experienced or taught properly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I combine a lot of the I think the neutral zone part you actually probably won't hear in any other breath work, or whether it's anything, because that was sort of my discovery with Hickson's, and although everybody sort of knows it, they like a lot of other breath work practices, they talk about it, like they hit on it, but they don't sort of emphasize it the way I do. So everybody brings all these cool things to breath work. Like they have their own thing where people are real super focused on the mechanics. Our breath guys are doing the gears, which is amazing. I mean, it's been super effective for me.
Yep.
I do like to add in, like when you're doing nose in, mouth out, I like to add in to stay around neutral, so you're not using a lot of muscles. You know, they don't mention that. But you know, and then eventually all this stuff comes together, and everybody knows it, but it's like we all add our own little piece.
Yep.
But man, that neutral zone to me is like that's the magic sauce. You know.
It's true.
It's kind of like managing your gas tank, right? It just kind of, you want that to be.
You don't want to burn it.
Yeah, you don't want it to burn all the way down or be too full or whatever. It's like there's an optimum level, I guess, right?
To build on that, I talked to a few people that were there.
Tell me all about it.
And that, because Mark and I, Leslie, were like, oh my God, this is managing our anxiety level so good. And you need that.
May I? Yeah.
Yeah. You got it, Mark?
Yeah.
And these two people were like, well, we're not like you guys. We don't have that anxiety day to day. Definitely performance anxiety of like a workout's about to start, a competition's about to start. Okay, I'll use it then for sure.
Yes.
How do they daily practice it if they're like not looking for the benefits like Mark and I were looking for?
So you're saying, what I'm hearing is, how can they use it even though it's not a performance-based thing, right? Or
they want to only use it for performance, but they're going to have to practice it to get to that, right? But then for like Mark and I, we're like practicing this stuff daily for like work.
Yeah, running a business,
like managing stress. And they're like, I'm not stressed.
That's great for them.
I know. I'm like, I'm super jealous, right? I'm like, hey, that's awesome.
I guess maybe what's the incentive for someone that's just an athlete, only doing it right before performance? What is the daily practice?
I told them, this is my opinion. I was like, you cannot just do it just before performance.
Because you haven't mastered it.
Because you haven't practiced it. Yeah. So I was like, at least need to. I was like, do it every day to practice it. But like, what else could they? What's another way that they could look at it?
Man, yeah, that's a good way to put it. What's another way they can look at it? So I don't do any cardio at all. I don't do other than jiu-jitsu. I do jiu-jitsu maybe once a week at the most, unfortunately. But when I do jiu-jitsu, I don't get gassed very often. Sure, certainly it happens. But also, what I noticed when I want to go for a run or something like that, which is it's not that often, but I don't get gassed like I used to. I used to be the worst. I mean, it was embarrassing how poor my cardio performance was. And so I would say that it is so important to open up the fascia, to whatever it is, to have a strong muscular lung capacity. That like it might be more important than stuff that we're already doing. I don't know, but
that makes sense.
Man, you just keep so Big Lou. Big Lou's the man. He's at all the workshops. He helps me out.
Big Lou's good guy.
He is a good guy to the soul. I know his whole family. I've known. I can't believe we've known each other for 17 years or something.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's actually right now. He he has psoriasis.
Yep.
Pretty decent. And he's taking pictures of himself. And he's a little heavy set. It's a big guy, Big Lou.
Yeah.
he's worried about. So he's on a diet now. A little bit of a diet, but really putting his effort into the Wim Hof method, especially after this last workshop, because he really felt the benefits so greatly that he took pictures. He took pictures of himself. It's like he's starting. He's gonna really push himself, and so just the benefits are so tremendous. Mm-hmm. It depends on what you need it for. But like the list goes on, and improving your breath mechanics. For whatever you do, how could it be bad? So forget the anxiety. Good. I'm glad they don't have anxiety. Good for them. I mean, how much anxiety do you have when you're a young guy anyway? I mean, it takes a big load, a heavy load to bring up that the anxieties that you need to escape from
or something. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, that's what we're doing when we're getting in a super deep meditative state, and we're escaping from the prefrontal cortex, and we're escaping for a little bit, which is amazing. Yeah. Right? It feels so good. So they don't need it for that. But man, just so we were just talking, and he said, Big Lou said, I had the confidence that I've never had before. Like, not that he's never had before, because he's a confident guy, but he works at SpaceX and stuff. Like he's a badass. But walking around there, he said, I felt really good. Like, it felt so good. And expanding your chest, this is very interesting. Look at Conor McGregor, how he walks into the octagon. Proper 12, Conor McGregor. And,
soon to sponsor. Go ahead.
and expanding your chest. I mean, what do you do when people are about to get into a fight, like a real fight? They bow up at each other. Mm-hmm. And so there is something amazing that happens, some chemical change that happens just when you bow up, And I was telling him, I mean, he thinks that it was confidence. And I said, maybe it's confidence, but maybe it's that you are expanding your chest and you're releasing whatever it is, whatever that natural thing is. It's a very natural thing. Bow up at somebody, Mm-hmm. Why do you do that? Well, it's to get yourself going in some sort of fashion.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would say. That
I told them, like, if you practice, you have to practice. You can't just show up the 3-4 days a week you work out and just be like, well, if I just do it right before then, it's gonna work. It's like you gotta practice.
I think you can. 3 or 4 days is
I think that's what they should aim for, probably. Yeah, for sure.
I think
as much as they can do it is probably fine.
I think that's the journey. The daily practice is going to be a different experience for everyone. It's kind of like you start eating healthy. You really don't know what the fuck you're gonna get or that person's gonna get. But it's like, what if you start sleeping better? Because
that's what I was thinking.
Everyone's everyone's talking about quality sleep. They have all these fucking trackers, but if you're actually breathing properly, your nose breathing when you sleep, or you're not taping your mouth, but you can't really quantify that right in the beginning, right? Exactly. So it's like you need to do this because you're supposed to on a daily to train proper fuel for your body, which is breathing. And then see what benefits you get from it.
I think you start nose breathing when you can start nose. At least my experience was I started nose breathing a lot more as a side effect of getting a stronger pull with my lungs.
Yeah.
So I can pull it in, and then all of a sudden, I don't snore at night or anything like when I used to. A couple of maybe tonight I'll snore, but
Connor, proper 12. I think another thing for. Another tool for the breathing. Yeah. I had a meeting with Steve Farber. He was at the.
Steve.
And then so he's asking me, like, how often do I breathe now? And then I've been so busy this year, I'm realizing that if I don't get in a workout, and that's why people do a workout, they kind of get into that that state of like your ears ringing. That intensity is what you chase. And then after you work out, get a pump or whatever, or you're just bodybuilding, then you feel good.
Yes.
But I can utilize the breathing technique as my exercise because I've done that. I'm like fucking wired like the dog hasn't been walked, right? And it's like 10 p.m. I just put the kids to sleep. I haven't worked out, and I've just been working all day. So I was like, all right. So that's what I've been doing. I do the breath work. It spikes it so that you can even get your ears to ring, and you get all those sensations that you hit a crazy fucking roll or workout.
Yes.
And then obviously it's maybe not ideal for some, but I still I'm a late owl, so. And then I go for my little cold walk to kind of calm the fuck down, you know? You don't have to go that long. So, because obviously I don't want to fucking spike it that hard and try to go to bed. But I think there's another benefit of like using it if you miss a workout for a day.
Yeah.
I feel like I get all the feelings and the changes. Obviously not from a muscle standpoint. I'm not getting stronger.
Well, you could do the 1 minute squat, the 1 minute push up I was thinking about.
Little tremble workout.
Same thing, like if I can't make it, like
that's what I do.
Like, yeah, dude, that was like what, 4 movements we did? What, lunge,
I'd say you cut it down to 3. You can cut it down to push up, squat, and a sit up. Or Pavel, like Pavel's. I was so excited to see his. What does he call it? Like a tube or something? Like you do
like a hollow hold type of thing, or no?
Is that what it is? Do you know what I mean? Like he does a squat. No, I'm sorry, a crunch with your arms out. That's what he says. He says that's
looks like a hollow hold. Yeah,
hollow hold. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So it's almost identical.
You can start doing those.
Because a lot of people have trouble getting in the gym every day, right?
Yeah.
Which is unrealistic for most people.
For sure.
And everyone tells you should, get some sort of exercise daily. Totally. This is a perfect supplement because it takes.
It's exactly what it is, especially if you're traveling or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was telling Big
ramp it up.
Yeah, I'm telling him to. I'm like, you can't skip a day. Don't skip a day. Mm-hmm. This is so easy. It's so easy it's so good for your joints. Just there's no reason to skip a day, and that way it sort of maintains you're creating a farmer strength.
Yeah,
with those holds,
the tremble that you
touch. I think so, man. It's just jarring all the good stuff loose.
See, I told our
That's
group.
A travel is a good idea because a lot of people, when I travel, it's like the last thing I want to do. But man, 3 reps or 2-minute holds, or
Yeah. Oh man.
I told our group that to practice in the mornings because that's what you told us last podcast.
Yeah.
And daily, like that. I've noticed. On a couple of days that I didn't do it, I was like, I feel a big difference of not doing it, Like,
what about cold showers? You're knocking those out?
Still have not done that at all. The cold exposure I've been doing, like he said, like going and doing the breathing outside when it's cold.
That's so good, though.
But I told him was, what are we going to do when it warms up pretty soon?
I know.
So I
turns into a bar.
Getting a tub, right?
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get a tub. Well, Andrew told me to do it because I just had it's like, again, it's been so much.
A tub at the gym. Mm-hmm. Get a chest freezer.
Well, it's probably the one you have or something. I don't know. Or the big idea, I was talking to Miles just the other day, is I think that it's going to be a good idea if we have like a follow-up kind of session or class for the people that have already attended the workshop. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you attend the workshop, and like for me and Leslie, we did it 3 times, and we felt a higher level of meditation and stimulus and change, and it was effective. But there's also maybe some people that might not see or get the value of the second one, but they probably would come in and do like a short refresher maybe, or a meetup.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what to call it.
Once they know the science, I'm happy.
Yeah, because then we could kind of be like, all right, we don't need to do.
Why don't we do like 3 to 5 rounds and then a workout?
And then a dip or something into a cold bath.
Or the workout and then dip.
Or be like a science, like an experiment with the tremble that you've been kind of researching, So like we'll do the breathing, do some tremble work, and really dive deeper into that, and then everyone jumps in, and it's like, I guarantee you all the people that have taken the seminar they're probably looking for something that's guided and coached. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of, if I ask the same people in my gym to take the seminar again or the workshop, they're probably like, they don't kind of want to sit through the work, the science, and then.
Although I changed the science up for you, the presentation it evolves, right?
And I agree. Yeah. Like I get it, but there's not so many nerds that see So.
I caught like all those little tidbits, but like.
You know what it is? The athletes are the ones that just want to get it like.
Yeah, get to it. No, like, I understand.
Let's go get it.
My friends are like, it's a long. That part at the beginning where I make sure that I want to hear everybody's a little bit what they want out of it. But that's super important to me. I mean, that's my favorite part.
That's my favorite part because what do we have? Like 2 people now with multiple sclerosis.
That's right.
And
that's right.
Other people just like crazy.
On the other end too, it's like I think it was Chance. There's a couple people that took it in 5 times. I think one was Chance, and the other one was taking it 4 times.
It's my dog.
And then so I've taken it 3. So it's like. Continue to take it, which is great. You'll keep
that's
learning.
Nice for
and
someone
the evolution.
First time to hear like, this guy's been here 5 times.
But you know what it is?
It sounds good, right?
Yeah, it's like why don't like.
And he's sitting up front still.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit. I thought I was badass taking it 3.
Right.
I'm like nowhere near that. I think the community aspect.
Shout out to Chance.
My man Chance.
Yeah, baby.
CrossFit and Jiu-Jitsu have same parallels. We're very community based. type of sports or hobbies.
I was thinking about that on the way here, yeah.
And so, like, if we have these kind of meetups once a month, twice a month, because, okay, you're, like, in the club now, right? Like, you're part of this. You've taken Miles' workshop.
Yeah.
So, therefore, you're now qualified to hang out with the group. And now you're like, let's hang out. Let's fucking have some beers afterwards and, whatever.
You know what? If we skipped that part, if we would, like, just invited people in, and the Wim Hof organization is real adamant about we follow this protocol.
Yeah.
And let's say you skipped the science and you just got real into it. Well, holy shit, the last hour is going to be them like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Like, what was that?
Now I kind of like that. They want. Yeah.
That's a good point.
So, like, it's super important, I think, to ease them in. Okay, this is what you're going to expect. This is why it's good. It's kind of crazy that it's good. It goes against...
Because even with the science, you're like, what happened? Yeah,
it's in there, but it won't click until fucking weeks later, months later, the third seminar. So, but yeah, no, like this little meetup would definitely only be for those that have taken the workshop.
Oh yeah, definitely. That'd be
it's
awesome.
Almost like a Miles level 2 workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of, in April, actually maybe May, the 1st of May or the end of April, I'm up to get my recertification. So to be certified in the method, you have to do 10 workshops a year at least, which is a decent amount.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's basically to show that, hey, you're doing this as at least
stay active.
At the very least a part-time, but almost a full-time capacity. It's a
one a month
amount. Yeah, basically what that is. Yeah, and I also have the opportunity to go up to level 2. So my level 2, when I get there, there's only level 3. Level 3 is the max, and that's like the dudes that were at the first work, 3 years before,
I thought you were gonna say it's only women. You're not getting there.
No one can get
but level 2 is pretty cool, and then we're able to do a little bit more with the blood flow. So right now, I when we first learned this stuff, we're real excited to get people into the blood flow part because that's pretty neat. It's pretty neat to feel blood flow. But
I don't even know what that means. It's kind of like, it's intriguing. What the fuck? What are you doing with my blood flow?
That's right. Well, you can control your blood flow. Like, let's do it right now. This is silly.
I feel the blood flow in my face because I'm Asian.
Yes,
you're getting proper 12.
You're getting
12 shit.
Nice and cherry. But you can just by noticing what is on the tip of your fingers, just notice it. You are starting to open up. I think you're starting to open up blood vessels on the tip of your fingers. Some of the guys can make one hand hotter than the other, which is crazy. I still can't do that yet, but so that's it. So it's just a simple exercise to notice what's going on.
Your hands are red too.
Yeah.
His
are a little bit. Why not?
He's got
controlling the
blood flow in there. Yeah.
Fucking Baby Yoda shit over here. I don't understand what's going on.
It's very neat though.
Mark and I don't have control. We don't have the force yet, dude. We're level 0.5.
Not even at a level. It's like my jiu-jitsu career. Forever white belt.
Oh man. Well, that's a good mindset to keep in.
10-year white belt.
That's okay with me.
It's a good mindset.
I don't understand.
Let's talk about your jiu-jitsu job.
I don't want to jump the tangent, but it's like I don't understand the people that want the belt faster than they get it, or that they deserve.
No,
it.
that's a bad thing.
But it doesn't make sense just from a common sense standpoint, right? It's like
they think they deserve it though.
Is that what it is?
Of course. Okay. They don't think they don't deserve it.
Because it's like you want to why would I rush to go to a blue belt or a purple belt when there's so much more like weight on my shoulders because now I'm carrying the burden of being like you have to.
You're a target.
You're a target.
You're going to be a target.
But
exactly.
also,
so why would you want that?
But your instructor's job too, right?
But it's like why give me a black belt?
It's your instructor's job.
It's your instructor's job.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it, and I've seen this in different areas. And being a small business owner, I think a lot of it has to do with not even competition, but facilitating and running a business. And as a small business owner, you want to, I need another coach, right? So I think a lot of times you accelerate people to help you coach.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And I think it's just natural because you have to keep the community, the business alive. So maybe there's some
also,
of that.
I guess just in life. If we give somebody a position sometimes they step it up.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Right? They need the incentive or the push. I don't know.
My uncle runs a division of his engineering firm in Germany right now. And he has 500 people under him. And that was just crazy. Shit. Yeah. And what he says is give people enough rope to hang themselves. And that's kind of what maybe getting an early blue belt would be like.
Yeah.
Right,
because they're like, hell yeah, I've done it.
And then all the other blue belts are like, no, actually,
meat.
all the other 4-stripe white belts
they're
like, we'll see.
I submitted the blue belt all day.
We'll see how your blue belt looks.
Has anyone turned down, is it typical to turn down a promotion?
No, you wouldn't.
That was disrespectful.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
Okay, no. I'm just saying.
That would be like, that's what, again, where it's up to your instructor.
It's not in the way of like,
Even though Hickson did that.
Yeah, that video was amazing. He turned it down.
Did you see that one?
No, I haven't.
Gave him
they tried to give him his red belt.
Yeah.
And,
he's like,
and he was like,
I want to be like everyone else.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not old enough. I haven't been doing it long enough.
Yeah, he's like,
and
I want to follow the rules.
It was Horian, and Horian was like, make your own rules. Get the red belt and then make your own rules. That's what he said.
He didn't take it.
He didn't take it.
No.
Wow.
It was gnarly. It was some big. Cool. They had all the family come in and surprise him. It's on YouTube. It's a great video.
Oh, I love it.
I got a couple questions, Miles, from our group.
Nice. Let's answer questions. Let's go live.
Are we live?
Questions.
Okay. Have you ever been? Have you ever passed out from a submission? Have you been choked out
from submission? No.
Unconscious. Oh, that's cool.
No,
He's a nice guy. Why would he?
He doesn't lose, so he never get. Why would he be in a submission timeout?
First of all, I've never been tapped.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I just. What happened to Mark?
I tap all the time, for one thing.
I've never been unconscious. That's what I want to know.
I'm married there.
That's a great question. And Judy from Rio Combat, which I will be at. And my next seminar is February 8th on Sunday in Alameda. And Judy put the gnarliest choke on me I've ever. It was the number one worst choke I've ever been in. And I thought.
Which choke was it? Do you remember?
It was a rear naked choke.
Okay.
You get to start. The drill was you get to start on the back.
Got it.
And I thought, no girl is gonna be able to choke me. I felt in my mind. That's what I thought. Yeah. And I thought I could even clamp down, not even tuck my chin. I thought
just flex your neck.
Yeah, I thought that for sure. And I defended it and defended it and defended it and defended it and defended it forever. And then I sat up, which was ridiculous because I put the choke on me deeper. And then when she let it go, when I finally tapped, I don't think my head was doing this, but it felt when I was looking at someone, it looked like my head was bobbing around, and I was like, oh my god. And also the one of the things that happens is when you get choked that much, that I feel like the train comes in. I start to hear a train. It goes and starts to close down on you, and so it got to here, and then I tapped out, and then I got the wobbles, which was amazing. But so I've never been choked out. That was the closest I've ever come. Shout out to Judy. See you guys in a couple of weeks.
Judy can change that next week.
That's right. If she just
finish it
next time, I'll climb down even faster.
Have you ever passed out, Dean?
Only from concussions.
Oh, you're wrestling
CTE,
though. Dude. But like
head
a slam
trauma
from
headbutts.
That's a knockout.
Headbutts. Yeah. Oh, wrestlers,
headbutts, football hits, but only a split second, not like smelling salts.
To get
to wake me back up. But from a choke, I just have no pride with that stuff. Like arm bar too. I'm I'll tap. I don't give a shit.
You've never hurt your elbows with the arm bars? That's
never. Great. I've never had a pop. I'm like,
oh wow,
it's almost there. Tap. I was like, I need my arm for work tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm good.
How old were you when you started jiu-jitsu?
19.
Okay.
And then from 19 to 21, I trained. And I got a blue belt, and then stopped and just did wrestling and jiu-jitsu here and there.
It translates, wrestling and jiu-jitsu.
Definitely. I think I got my blue belt just off having a top game.
Yeah, for sure.
Guard is trash, and that's what I'm working on right now.
Nice one.
Just nothing but guard stuff, because it's like...
Are you? What's your favorite guard?
I don't have one.
You don't have one?
No.
Well, you're learning from... shout out to Roy Harris.
Yeah, I took a couple privates with Roy Harris just to be like... What do I do? Just give me a freaking game plan.
I didn't even know who Roy Harris was. Sorry about that. And, whatever.
Sorry, Roy.
Sorry, Roy. But if you look back at Jean-Jacques Machado versus Roy Harris, and the videos are grainy and some black belt invitational, that's how far back that shit is. That's fucking gnarly.
That's real.
And it was a good competition.
I just said my guard sucks. I'm a blue belt with no guard. So I'm never gonna advance. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what to drill. I don't want to drill sweeps and subs. I got tired of that. Give me. I didn't want a game plan.
Yeah.
And,
so where do you go?
Roy was like, "Well, what are you doing from He basically said, "How are you getting pressure from the guard?" And I was like, "I don't know what that means. What do you mean?" Like
when you're on the bottom,
your legs?
He's like, you know, use your
you
feet like hands, and I'm
something?
like, no. And he was like, do you know how to attack from the guard? And I was like, no. I mean, like, throw, sweep, hit, like we were talking, like you throw first sweep, throw first sub. It's like 50-50 shot. That's how it feels. Way less. And he just has concepts down of like how to attack from the guard, how to wrestle from your back.
Yeah.
You know, because he was a big top guy.
I see.
So he's like, his game plan's like, option A is, you know, be on top, pass, and sub. You know, grab an arm and
for sure
and get a sub.
That's how jiu-jitsu works.
All right.
Yeah.
He's all plan B is I'm on my back or I got swept in. Get back to plan A. So I was like, okay, well, how do you do that? And he was just like a pressure from the guard, and I wrestle from my back, and I'm like, wrestle from your back?
Yeah.
Like wrestlers aren't supposed to go to their back. You know, that's what I was taught.
Right.
So that's what we've been drilling. It feels great.
Amazing.
It reinvented my love for jiu-jitsu because I hated gis. I hated my back.
Yeah, all tied it up. Yeah.
Hated it. Yeah. Hated all of it.
Okay.
So now I'm like, it opened up a whole new door. That being said, my old instructor who gave me my blue belt is teaching us a catch wrestling seminar tomorrow, and I'll be like, I don't want this gi anymore. Let's just do no gi. Let's just wrestle now.
That's awesome.
I'm a catch wrestler now. Let's just do that. But
the scarf hold, right? The pressure that catch wrestlers can drive into the scarf hold.
Yeah, Mark's gonna learn tomorrow. It's a different kind of crank, dude.
Nice.
I don't even know what to expect. He's saying they're somewhere down around here.
They do chest compressions. That's one of them. That's what who's the man tapped out Huron Gracie in Metamoris.
Josh
he
Barnett?
was going against Josh Barnett. Yeah, fair enough. But he puts a scarf hold on him and taps him out with a chest compression. So like if your chest keeps compressing, every time you push air out, you can't push any more air in.
I don't know. Catch wrestling feels way more violent.
It does.
Than jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah.
But it's just as nice in terms of like how you apply pressure and torque.
Is it?
I feel
just
like it
nice
is.
Nice being effective.
Being like it translates over from jiu-jitsu.
Oh, it's effective.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
massive,
Where you're like,
massive.
I'm just gonna bring my hips up,
it's
slowly
super
turn
effective.
But it's more violent at the same time.
It's super violent. Yeah.
They just want to like rip people's heads off their shoulders and rip the shoulder out of the joint. It's crazy.
It is.
It's fun though.
Since we're on the jiu-jitsu topic, one thing I thought of, I wanted to ask you, Miles. You're hosting another workshop at Lions Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, Lions headquarters.
And it's got a Lions headquarters, so I'm assuming it's kind of jiu-jitsu based a little more, or is it?
We'll go over positions. So we'll do in addition to the tremble stuff. We'll get into positions.
Shit.
And I'll show how to do the breath work in positions. You know, we got to know it a little bit.
Cool.
And you can even we were talking about where to apply Wim Hof stuff. I mean, you could apply Wim Hof stuff. You can't take you get the wind knocked out of you real easy.
Yeah, when you try to apply Wim Hof while physical exertion.
Yes, but so you can get in a super dominant position. And then apply, and then start using it, and then it's hilarious for everybody around, and disenchanting for the person below you.
This guy's meditating on top of me, breathing.
That's right, breathing super heavy. I have a man holding me down, breathing super heavy. It's pretty funny, but it does work, and you can stick it in there. So that's pretty nice to know that you can, maybe right before you engage, you might throw in a couple of breaths. and stuff.
So the Alliance one is a jiu-jitsu focused. Wim Hof, your spin.
So it'll be exactly what we do, except for in the exercise portion I'll change up. Cool. That I'll add in positional.
That's
stuff.
Good to know because I saw it and I was like, because your community is jiu-jitsu and we have we're interested in jiu-jitsu too, so it's good to kind of shout that out. Anyone listening, that this one's like a
I got Jeff Mata. I really want to get him.
We should get Tyler in there.
Yeah,
just all
Jeff
of our.
He knows the owner at Alliance.
Does he?
Yeah. It's because it's Miramar, so right? Cool. At Miramar? Mm-hmm. Who is it?
I think everyone in San Diego that does jiu-jitsu knows each other somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was like Alliance at Miramar, blah, 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 and he named the name. And I was like, I feel like Miles said that name too.
Yeah, that's the man.
Yeah.
He's the best. The owner's so awesome. And he told me that he was very excited about it already. My friend Bruno at Fires Market, the owner, he kind of hooked us up and so he kind of knew what was going on. And because I've been in the jiu-jitsu community, I have enough credit that they believe me, and I worked with Hickson and stuff, and so he was super excited. And then I'm telling him the story. I'm leaving his gym, And we set up the workshop, everything. He's excited for it, I'm excited for it. I'm like, listen, I'm so excited to do it for jiu-jitsu guys, and I'll tell you why. I mean, other than it's such a stress, jiu-jitsu is such a stress, and so we can test it immediately. When I do the breathwork for jiu-jitsu, we do essentially a Wim Hof session in the beginning, and then we roll for an hour.
Yeah.
Rolling for an hour is a tough,
Yeah.
And people come back and they're like, that was game-changing. I had so much energy. I mean, old guys, that's what I really want. I want to protect the old guys. I'm 40. The guys that are 40 came back to me and were like, that was amazing. I have so much energy now. And that's totally what I want. And so that's what we're, that's stuff you can apply easily at those in jiu-jitsu. It's just gets me all excited.
I think I was talking to Leo about this too. I was like, the application for Wim Hof for jiu-jitsu athletes or practitioners, it's super valuable for the white belts as well. Because how many times have you been in an uncomfortable position? You're in the bottom, especially with someone's gi in your face and you can't breathe. They're on mount and
panic.
The panic happens, and so many people,
Yes.
when especially in the white belt stage, they tap because they're panicking.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not because they physically can't have breathe in air,
Right.
or they're being submitted.
Good point.
And then after that, it's like any anxiety, then it becomes like a habit. It's like once you get there, you're afraid of it. You're anticipating that, oh shit, mount's coming, and you're already freaking out. And it's like there's rolling anxiety that happens.
Uh-huh.
I mean, typically I would assume, because I don't get to that far level, but when you're in higher belts, you don't get that anymore. You're accustomed to roll.
The anxiety? No, but you do.
You still do?
I mean, if you didn't, I don't think we would do this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
maybe
Like,
because you're just kind of calm.
jolt.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where I think the application for Wim Hof is so powerful, because I've gotten it a bunch. There's sometimes like, an open mat, you're rolling with people, and then so-and-so's like, oh, I got you next. And you're like, you start freaking out because you're like, you want to do well because it's like a buddy you respect, but you're fucking gassed. And then you already go like that. You don't need to. And one of the benefits that you talked about, and what I kind of posted about, is like, I wish we learned this skill earlier.
I know.
Why the fuck do I have to kill my open mat experience and my rolling experience having all this anxiety when you can kind of flush it from the beginning?
The fact that we didn't learn the stuff that was probably.
That's what I posted. I was like, it's such a fucking. I feel cheated.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like what I posted. The analogy was like, it's like, I thought I could only walk my whole life, and then someone's like, hey, look, you can actually run. Like, what the fuck? I'm 36 years old now.
My analogy is I feel like we've been on one of those old TVs with the you're changing the channel, and somebody hands you a remote. And you're like, wait a minute, I don't have to get up anymore, and I can just
get stuck on this channel. Click, click.
Yeah.
The 246.
Yes.
Now I think
It's
the jiu-jitsu world can. I mean, any application, but since we're all that's part of our hobbies and likes, that there's got to be a lot of jiu-jitsu applications.
Well, jiu-jitsu is a nice test for it.
Yeah.
That's the deal. Like CrossFit is a nice test for it. Like if you have whatever extreme exertion,
there's anxiety involved.
Man, competition's a nice test for it, for sure. I mean, God, that feeling. I've never done a CrossFit competition, but I know the feeling of competing and not having strength and being in that weird state.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't finish my story. The owner of Alliance, so I told him we're so. I said, hey, listen, I'm super excited to show this jiu-jitsu guys, and I told him I did some. I used to have a lot of anxiety when I competed, and I thought the anxiety feelings feel so similar to being sick. Mm-hmm. Feels like you got the flu. You got like this instant flu. That what if this worked for that? Because this works for the flu. Essentially. Yeah. And then when I tried it and it worked, I was like, oh my God, no, this is crazy. Like I can do this before competitions. Yeah. That's when I was doing little competitions at the, we have an amazing competition at Gorilla where it's no weight classes, no belts. Come in here and see who.
No weight classes. That's a gnarly.
That's it. Yes. No weight classes, no belts. And so I did a few before that, and then I did that one, and I won. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And even Dave Camarillo was like, what's going on? Like
that shouldn't have happened.
He didn't expect me to win either. It's his tournament. He's like, ooh. There was some better guys here than you. Like, how did you do this? And I spent 7 rounds. I did 7 rounds in the back room before I even started the competition to get in that state. I didn't know if it really worked or not, or you know what I mean. But it did. It worked. I mean, it worked enough for me to be proficient enough mentally to be able to navigate the things that were happening. Yeah. And then that's when I started doing the fight to wins, because I was like, well, let's make this really hard. Let's make it I should be crazy nervous. And then so when I told the owner of Alliance, he was like, "That's amazing." He was like, I said, "You can walk out down the walkway, throw the smoking lasers. It's your jam. It's your favorite song. Your family's out there. All these people are out there." I was like, I could see everybody in the crowd. I could see, in crystal clarity. No nerves whatsoever. I mean, zero. And he was like, "You just gave me goosebumps." I'm like, all right.
Yeah, because how many times have he's been in a big tournament where he's super nervous, like everyone else.
Everyone, like Mark said, you could just one guy points at you and says, "We're next," and you go, "Oh, stomach hurts."
The how important it is doesn't matter.
Lasers and music.
Well, no, but how important it is makes no difference.
Yeah, they're the same.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly
it's just you want to do well.
Yes.
And you have to deal with whatever it is. It's
the challenge at hand. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that brings up the idea.
So that one's on the 16th at the at Alliance. Yeah.
Check it out if you're.
We're gonna link that one up.
Yeah, okay. MMA or jiu-jitsu guy or something. You should
definitely so awesome. He's so that's it. They have a great gym over here.
Man, maybe that's what the follow-up is that like in a to explain it simply is that the workshop you're learning the principles of Wim Hof, and after you take that. Then your work, the meetup type of thing or the once a month thing might be a performance test, because some people might not do a high intensity workout, or people don't know, like we're about to get into like an hour worth of rolling and so let's apply it. So that's another.
That's really. Oh wow!
Let's do it
before.
Let's do the ice bath. Breathe ice bath, and then let's do a marathon roll, and then that could be the one session you meet once a month. Because that's now we're putting people in the position that we're having them actually feel what we're talking about. Some people might not get a chance to go compete, and they don't know, but we can kind of recreate that environment, and then you do high intensity exercise. I mean, we have the perfect spot to.
Yeah, I want to try it on assault bikes.
Yeah, we could get people.
No, you don't.
But if you could be a lot more calm on it and not be nervous, it's kind of like the ice bath. It's always gonna hurt. But you could disassociate and not freak the fuck out. And have
Mark would love to show you that.
On assault bikes?
Yeah, I'm very careful at who I try to push in the workouts because they can fucking break my arm.
Oh, no.
He's all, repay this in the marathon rule, for sure.
That's right. Hey, speaking of, so I haven't seen your gym yet, but your mat choice in the green is amazing.
Yeah.
The pictures are coming out amazing. I think that regardless of the size, I think that place is something super special.
It's
the mats feel good too.
That's nice.
They just feel right.
Do they?
And then I remodeled this office a year and a half ago, and the biggest compliment I ever got out of the whole thing, like you could say like, "Oh, the floors are great, the paint color is nice." The best compliment you could get is like, "Oh, I feel like this has already been here." You know what I mean?
It feels like home.
A week later, someone's like, "Was it always like this?" I literally have people come back like 2 weeks later and go, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "What did I do? It took a week, like 10 days of this and this and this," and they were like, "I don't even like. It just feels like it's always been like that." And
it should have always been like.
It should have. That in my head, I was like, "That means it's right. That means it should have always been like." And then that's what I told Mark too. Before the mats were even down, I walked in and I went, "Oh man, this was already here."
No, that's true.
And I was like, "Now I know what it feels like."
It's been close.
Wow.
In this spot, like 6 years, right, or more. But now, like the first time we went and actually rolled on it was a couple days ago.
And it felt like, oh man, we've been doing this for years.
It feels like that's what it felt like. Home base.
That's
those green mats.
Weird feeling.
I think so. Maybe that's
green
it.
Mats.
It's the green mats.
Leo Gracie said that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's the only color. I mean, he's a little strict on what he believes.
Really?
Leo Gracie was.
That's why Leo said must get green mats. And in my head, I'm like, that looks like shit. I don't know, but now I get it.
The flags look good.
The flags look amazing.
But so Leo's starting his academy or dojo. I don't know what people call it in the location across the sun. So it's kind of cool. But I think I feel the same way. Where this is something special because it's that there's so much that we want to do with it in terms of building the network of people, like what we're doing here, like Cairo, Breath Fitness, FixFit, CrossFit. It's like we want like-minded individuals to just share fucking knowledge and hacks and just live optimally. And I want this to be that type of environment, and whatever that looks like, whoever can come and train and Leo's definitely heading the ship and being the professor there because we need someone that's actually
it's just more legitimate, right?
For sure.
We're gonna have a whole episode with Leo on soon to just be like, dude, this guy.
We need subtitles though because he's Brazilian.
He's great.
He was the best coming in the seminar going, oh, like he's so loud and
he's
so
awesome.
funny.
He's a good dude, right? Just like Big Lou, he's a good dude.
He made a good post about 2 meetings of the black belt minds the other day at your seminar. I was like, dude,
that's awesome.
It's awesome shit.
It's good. So I don't know. It's still
got the black belt mentality for sure.
We just been working around the clock doing the admin stuff and trying to make it official, and hopefully we'll launch it soon. Build a little jiu-jitsu family, which is awesome. It's always been a dream of mine. My gym started as a jiu-jitsu MMA facility.
Yeah.
Before CrossFit, so it's been like a long time coming. 12 years, 12 years in the making.
You know what I could say about that space that you have? It is absolutely perfect for filming. Holy smokes!
It is
stunning for filming.
Yeah.
So you could I think the potential there is off the charts.
Yeah.
You could really put
that back room. We're gonna podcast into.
That could be. And then I was saying the next podcast for like Miles or whoever comes back on, we should do it in the jiu-jitsu.
That'd be fun.
On the mats, and then we're already fucking ready to go.
Yeah, get after it.
Yeah.
Throw a little time warp or whatever they call it.
But that's kind of the idea too. Is like we want it to be such an open source, right? That if if you need to do some, or whoever wants to do some filming or something, like it's all open arms.
It's awesome. Well, it's a cool spot.
It's pretty late in the podcast, but I'll just tell
what is it?
These guys that are asking questions are bored for the jiu-jitsu talk. But I was like, hey, you guys got questions?
Jiu-jitsu stuff.
You guys got questions for Miles? And we have a couple.
He asked earlier, I think.
I did.
This isn't live.
One is Steve.
No,
and
we
Steve
should do one live. That'd be great.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, we should do it.
What's up, Steve?
What's the difference in timing and pace between the way we did the breathing in the workshop and the way Wim teaches it in the intro videos?
Ooh,
meaning like it's very slower.
In which one?
Wim's.
So he teaches the full Wim Hof method. The protocol would be you kind of use all the full capacity of your lungs, which we do too. But I just asked people this time to focus on the chest. So they use the full capacity of the lungs. You breathe in the belly first, you breathe in the chest, and then you even breathe it in the head.
So is that what makes it slower, or is it just intentionally just more natural?
No, slower. Well, I don't pick the pace. Did you guys notice that? I could let you guys pick the pace.
You say find your own pace. Yeah.
Find your own pace.
But maybe the problem is that everyone else is like bat out of hell pace.
Faster? Maybe. Well, I mean, I do breathe along with you guys when I'm walking around.
Yeah.
So I breathe faster than everybody.
I thought I was breathing faster than my neighbors.
Yeah?
Where you were like, because you kept saying stop listening to the people around you. And I was like, I feel like I'm going too fast. But I was like, no, I'm doing my own pace. This is what I've been practicing. So the people next to me were slower.
But maybe like
I love that.
Could it be that the online and app stuff from Wim's videos, he's at a slower pace because he just breathes a lot more efficiently? Because I have a low lung capacity, so I'm assuming I can't keep up with Wim in terms of that slow pace. Is that kind of a thing too, or no?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that a lot of people that have average breath capacities think that the world has an average breath capacity, and think that that's how it should work. And I think that most breath work instructors think that because they have an average breath capacity. But I know that your breath capacity is just like how tall you are. It's like it's not going to get that much better.
Yeah.
I mean, it might get a little better, and so I know that you just have to go at your own pace, and then you can also you got your hand on the throttle too, right? So you can push it or pull it if you want to. And I know too that one of my favorite things to say is when I'm walking around, I'm like, well, if you think you're doing it too hard, then you are. If you don't think you're doing it hard enough, then you're not.
So the recommendation off of that question is just because Wim is breathing at that pace doesn't mean that Wim teaches that that's the pace to go at.
No, we breathe at our own pace.
Okay.
When I'm with Wim and we do big group,
he tells people to breathe at your own pace.
we just get to it.
That makes sense because, like you said, you break up all the fascia, learning how to do it. It makes it easier for yourself, but it doesn't necessarily change your vital capacity at all.
Not really. A little bit. I imagine it does. I'm sure
maybe a little more optimal, but it's like it's more like it's easier on your body, right? Like you're not cramping here.
Probably.
You're not. But it's not going to make you a marathon runner.
And two, let's you mentioned something really good. That that one point when you really start to expand your chest and it starts to hurt a little bit. I mean, do you even need to dive into that hurting part when you're doing the breath work? Probably not. That probably takes the most amount of, and I guarantee it. The higher you go up, the more you bring in, you're using more muscles at the very top.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal would be then to your goal is to use the least amount of energy possible.
Right.
So your goal would be to
flex
not
that hard.
Yeah, to not get in that area, that little area at the top, to like really expand. Mm-hmm. So how much is it going to get? You get a little better, but
that's actually a great question, because a lot of people that haven't taken the workshop, or you're just, again, they don't know the application. They'll look at the app and they'll just try to follow Wim's pace. I bet. I guarantee that's what happens. Totally. Wait, he's going this fast, and then that's not optimal.
And you know what? Wim never put out up until recently. They only put out their first guided breath thing recently.
Yeah.
Like this is the official guided breath thing. Before that, he was like him teaching other people, which he really doesn't give a. You can tell he doesn't care about their pace much, So they put out one that's guided, but then before that, they had a bunch of other people, bootleggers, we can call them on YouTube, are putting out or just snatching pieces of him and sticking them in videos, and people think that that's the pace.
Got it.
And that used to really frustrate me because that wouldn't have worked for me. If I would have listened to that first, I'd have been like, that's bullshit. Cool.
That makes total sense. And then it's a perfect leeway into this next question is, when you're doing the breathing, is it better to get the tingling feeling of like the chemical changes, or is it better to get longer retentions? Because which one would signify that you have a chemical response?
Which one is like more effective, I would assume? Because that's a good question.
That's exactly what you're saying. Is like, just because you're following that pace doesn't mean you're getting that chemical response. Doesn't mean you're getting the same hold. Mark was always getting 2.5 minute holds while I was sitting there going like, oh my god, 45 seconds. I still feel it, but not
really. You were that low.
Well, here's. I mean, I want to know
first round was always
answer
that low
as well, because like after the first or second seminar, I was averaging even the first one like 2 plus 2.5 minute holds.
Amazing.
But during the last couple times, especially during this last workshop,
chemical changes.
Like my whole phase numb, the ringing in my ears have never lasted that long. At a point, I was freaked out. I'm like, I can't. I think I fucked my earring up. Like, but again, right? It's like that. I think I held it. I got there at 2 minutes. I didn't need to get 2.5 minutes. So what's more important?
I stopped it. I don't. Just to be clear, I don't expect anyone to hold more than 2 minutes in my workshops. Okay. Right? Ever.
But it's different, right? It was weird where it's like I got more chemical changes.
At the top end.
I don't know. Yes. The breath holds were longer, but I felt less physical changes. So which one's better or worse?
So two things are happening.
Yep.
We're making the chemical change. I think the breath hold is a nice assessment of your capability. I don't know your capability, but your like state. So if I drink too much one night, and then the next morning my breath hold's going to be shorter. That's just how it works, how I feel. And so when you do a nice long breath hold, you can tell that you're feeling pretty good. Your chest is expanding nicely and everything. Yeah. So I mean, literally just since this workshop was the first time I ever talked about the difference between chest breathing and belly breathing. Shout out to the Aura Ring, my first sponsor ever. So.
We'll tag them too.
Yeah.
Fitness guys need Aura Rings.
For real. But I really learned the difference between those two things. So this is the first time that I've ever really discussed it. So you can still make the chemical changes. I can still if I do a 2 minute hold, then I know that I kind of got to the place. It used to take me 5 rounds to get to a 2 minute hold, or like a little over 2 minutes. It was over.
Same, yeah.
And then I started to get it to about 10 minutes. I could do it in 10 minutes with just doing it quicker. But then now you change I can still get to a 2 minute hold with belly breathing, but my HRV's through the roof. And then, but if I do chest breathing, my HRV is in the toilet. It's like 120 to 10. That's the difference in HRV, just from those two breath patterns and the exact two breath processes and the exact same breath pattern. So that's really interesting. So what he's asking is, which one's better? Well, I think they're both super important. I think the Wim Hof method, when you use everything, I think that's nice.
You get more physical, I assume, if you used everything?
If you use everything, you get more physical. Well, it takes more energy, so you're still making lovely chemical changes, but I don't think it's... this time was the first time I focused on, or asked people to focus on the chest.
Gotcha.
I think in the future, I'm gonna tell people. So I'm gonna tell people just what I discovered,
right.
And like, hey, and I think that's how I'm gonna gauge people too. If they want to turn it up, you use your chest. If it's getting overwhelming, you can keep doing it, but just start using your belly.
You did say that during
did I?
The seminar. You said if you're feeling overwhelmed, start belly breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, breathe normally.
I practiced that through. Well, not even just breathing normally, because breathing normally for somebody could just be like.
That's
like
fair.
slowing. I'm slowing down, right?
Yeah.
I'm breathing normal.
Belly breathe.
But the belly breathe makes you go like. Let me draw my breath through my stomach. Let me
It's a more parasympathetic breath,
yes,
for sure.
And then
isn't that amazing? Two different breaths.
I practiced that in the seminar.
Did you?
It definitely helps. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
To bring it back down. Was it like too much? You're like, I want to keep breathing. I still want to get this effect.
For sure in the seminar, and then in person, like by myself, it hasn't been as intense as the seminar, but. It has gotten ramped up where I was like still belly breathe to relax it at the end is helpful.
Cool? I don't know who asked that, but I'm going to ask probably the follow-up question I'm getting from that. So the question was, which one's better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it the duration of the hold or the sensations you get? So off of what we just heard, which is awesome, would you now recommend, from an application standpoint, just a recommendation, would it be interesting or would it be effective to try to hit both levels? So like my first round, I'm doing the full inhalation to get a long breath hold, right? And then maybe after 1 or 2 rounds, then do more chest breathing to fucking ramp it up to get both sensation.
How about this?
I don't know.
Let's spitball. Let's do something totally new. So the Wim Hof method, to be clear, is using everything.
Yep.
Is taking. We get a nice posture where we tuck our feet in when we're laying down, and then we get our lower backs on the ground, and we really open up the lower part of us. Right.
Okay.
So the Wim Hof method, they encourage you to use these great breathing mechanics that allows us to open up our belly and then open up our chest. But actually, to do that, to open up your belly first and then open up your chest, you got to drop your neutral zone. Which is kind of interesting. You got to change your posture. You can't open up your belly and then open up your chest without actually changing your shoulders, changing your posture. So that's pretty interesting. So if we can do both, now how do you want to use them?
Yeah.
Right? Like what's your goal? So what's better? Well, it probably depends on what your goal is. If I'm feeling sick, like let's say this, if I'm feeling sick, I need a dose of adrenaline. I know that I do.
That makes
when I start like feeling like life's a little bit tough, or I don't have enough time, I want to get a dose of adrenaline. So I would do lots of chest breathing.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling fantastic, let's say I got in a nice parasympathetic state, I got in a nice consciousness shift before a competition or something like that, and now I just want now I just want to be able to hold my breath for 2 minutes. Because I'm gonna need to swoop this big motherfucker that's in front of me.
Yeah.
Then maybe I would just do belly.
Yeah.
This is just I'm just completely thinking about this on the fly.
It makes total sense because it's you have to. There has to be an intent.
Right.
If I'm trying to, because I didn't work out that day and I needed some stimulus, I need to chest breathe.
Yeah, I think you do at least for a little bit,
right? Because
even Nixon says get some tingle, get some.
That depends on the workout.
I think that's a perfect
If you're just
answer.
gonna go for a jog, maybe you want to belly breathe. Get that parasympathetic for 2.5 miles, 3 miles.
That's in line with what we always talk about. FixFit is
I'm gonna take a restroom break.
Are you already?
Yeah, dude, it's Mark knows. It's the tumbler. It's the bitch bladder. We know this.
Yeah.
Listen, we didn't say that.
We'll keep chatting. I got questions for Miles about what his plans are for. What are your plans for breath fitness?
Ooh.
Because I know it's a big one. Because you're starting. How many seminars and workshops have you ran so far? And then do you have a bigger long-term goal?
Yeah. So I've had 5 total Wim Hof method, full Wim Hof method fundamental seminars.
Okay.
Only 5. 3 of them at your place.
Hell yeah.
And then and I have 3 more scheduled in next month.
Awesome.
So that's starting to ramp up, which is amazing. And then I've done several breathing for jiu-jitsu, which is again, we give you the initial part of the Wim Hof method, and then you get to roll for an hour afterwards and see if I give you the Wim Hof method and the Hickson stuff. I get to put them together, and then you get to see if they're effective for you. It's the reviews have been good.
Yep.
To put it that way.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, but so my plan before was like, how do I incorporate this stuff? And then that the tremble workout that I stumbled upon has been super nice for me. So the plan before was, well, how do I sort of get this reach more people?
Yep.
But I'm finding out so much connecting with people. I'm finding out so much from these seminars, and I'm learning so much that like I'm to the cusp potentially of wanting to reach more people. But like I love a workshop of a few people, and then we really get into how this method helps you, and then we watch it help.
Yeah.
And then people make really life changes.
Yeah.
Right. If this stops Big Lou's psoriasis, or even like calms it down a little bit, just the Wim Hof method in general, then I think we have something so special. I'll always focus, I think, on the Wim Hof method because he's a master, and it takes you 10 years to get a black belt, but he's been doing this 30 years. So he is like a triple, quadruple red belt, like at breath work and chemical control.
Yeah.
Which, to learn from him, what happens is he trims down all the fat out of all these goofy disciplines.
Yep.
I shouldn't say they're goofy, but all these disciplines that have layers and layers and layers of people that have come across and found the discipline and then taught it.
Got it.
It's just so simple, right? And then, but he is like trimmed all the fat away, and he's like, no, it's just this. 30 or 40 breaths. And hold your breath at the end,
it's
and then
that
big
simple.
hold at the end, and it's really that simple. And so I love there's some a Facebook group in San Francisco, and they just get together and they do breath work. Nobody's an instructor, I don't think, but they just do breath work and hit the bay or whatever. And does that work? 100% that works. That works perfect.
Yeah.
That does everything you need it to do. It's like when we focus on these fundamentals, they transcend all the steps, all the recipes, all the layers that everybody put through there. And so I'm going to continue to focus on Wim Hof as far as that would always be my core, I think.
Yeah.
And then who else needs it? How do they need it? I'm reaching out to people that are overcoming substance abuse, which is amazing. And then as some fun, one of the next workshops and small workshops will be at the holding company in OB. At the top of the holding company, we're going to do a breathwork and brunch, which is it'll be kind of like a yoga class where I'll do some breathwork to sort of introduce people to these. So this will be a precursor to the Wim Hof method, and eventually we're going to stick some ice baths up there, and they got a 360 or a 180 degree of the ocean view of the ocean, and it's going to be badass.
Damn.
So that's the plan. It's like how do I reach people, and then there's two things going on. So I'd love to be able to teach people in a small way, like how do you make some changes with breath work and make it substantial to you enough that you think that this might improve your life a bit, because it improved my life so much. What am I supposed to do? I have to tell people this stuff. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to find a dark room. I don't know where it's going to be, but it's going to be I think people can go to do some breath work similar to Soul Cycle, where you go in with a group and then you leave afterwards, and you had an experience, and you got to leave your afternoon for a moment,
like a breath class kind of.
Just breath work. It's so I did this stuff for 6 months. I did breath work for 6 months before I ever touched the cold, and you start sweating like you can so much can happen with just the breath work. And the cold's amazing, and I love that. And we get some tubs at one point. We'll get some chest freezers somewhere. I feel like it's gonna happen.
But like a nice midday reset where it's a dark room, guided breathing.
I can't always get it done in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, try and get it done in the morning, but you can't. That's what I was telling Big Lou. I'm telling him, like, man, just don't skip it. You do your breath work, do the tremble workout. But it's so easy, you gotta stick it in. So if you didn't get it done in the morning, you try in the afternoon. If you didn't get it done in the afternoon, you try in the early evening. If you didn't get it done in the early evening, just do it before you go to bed, and then hopefully do something.
Yeah.
You get off your phone for an hour before you go to bed. Take some melatonin or whatever you need to knock out. But so
that's in the works. So maybe some sort of little breathwork classes in different areas.
Yeah. So Wim Hof fundamentals workshops. For whoever needs them, we got a therapy place in El Cajon is coming up in the 22nd, February 22nd, and that'll be neat. It's a whole different demographic. They have like kind of a yoga room and cool salt lamps and stuff, and we'll do it there too, and that'll work. But so everyone who needs it, we're going to give it to them. But I think the afternoon breath class and by the beach breath class is going to be massively powerful.
I have an idea for you, if you don't mind.
Let's do this.
So it's that same type of parallel again with like what we're trying to do, Ian, with FixFit.
Okay.
And we like the personal connection. That's what Miles is saying. He wants to help and see people. You want to know the people you're helping. You want the workshops. You get to know their story, and then you see them go from like back pain every day to no back pain, or you want to.
That's what our life's about, really, right?
Yeah. And so something we've thought about a lot too, and it's the way that we can grow what we do to share, because we know it's so positive and it helps, is that you start to work with different communities, and then you mentor or you build a structure that they can implement. So let's say you're working with.
That's a great point.
Golfer. He's a golf instructor. He has 50 clients, whatever.
Yeah.
But you're working with him, mentoring him, so that he can give him a formula for a golf, golfer, and you can work with a soccer team. So I see like you're still working personally.
Yeah.
But the reach is through their network.
Yeah, and see
so
what.
So maybe you have some sort of the same type of approach where you're like, if you can help this one high school, football coach. Whatever, and then that's how you kind of expand the growth without having to have some generic like Wim Hof breathing for football players. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. So I got Big George. You saw Big George at the He's the man, and he's all about that. He's been in college and high school athletics for a long time. His whole life.
No one talks about that.
He played ball with Bill Walton. What?
Ian and I and Bob, we send each other these like little articles about how people's careers are getting ruined by crippling anxiety and mental stuff. It's like, what if they just have a tool that they can use? They could save their career. It's hard.
That's sad. Yeah,
I've never even heard that.
Dude, Delonte West from basketball player, I just
substance
saw
abuse,
and he's got all this mental health issues. But anywho, it's like
addiction.
I just see it's kind of one of those things where there's a lot more that you can do.
Crippling panic attacks, and they can't perform. They can't show up to camp, and
that's wild. I've had them before. They might have been cannabis induced, but I've had them.
I've had that before.
Brutal. Yes.
Usually edible.
I was wondering about that now too, where I was like,
usually it's edible.
Edibles.
Let's take a quick turn here. The other day I was
put down the proper 12 and bring out the joint.
You guys got one?
How'd you guys know?
Sponsored by CBD around the corner.
But the cannabis induced anxiety. Where I was like, that you're fearful to like whatever you're about to induce or intake, right? You're like, oh shit, like hopefully it's not this time. And then it's like 50. To me, it's like 50-50.
It's like, it could be good or bad.
It's either a great trap, or it's like, oh shit, there it is. And I'm wondering now with Wim Hof, like, I wonder if it's just gonna be all enjoyable now. I feel like it's gonna all be enjoyable.
No, wait a minute. So you have, I've heard somebody who had recently who had a bad time. It was someone that wasn't I don't know personally, but had a bad time with Wim Hof stuff and cannabis and eating cannabis. But now you know that chest breathing brings up anxieity, and now you know that like lower belly breathing
they use the wrong breath maybe. If you're smoking weed or edible and you're doing your chest breaths, you shouldn't.
You're punching it up.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's a bad thing to do.
But you better be ready. Yeah, you better be ready for that feeling.
That's right.
Most people aren't. So
if you want to get in the paint with Shaq, then that's what you're doing.
Take an elbow.
He might push you down though.
I was wondering now though. I'm like, now that Wim Hof's going great, I'm like, I bet you that doesn't happen anymore. That's my guess.
You have. I mean, I do think you have, like we're saying, it's a remote control. Breathwork is a remote control to the brain in a way that's like, it doesn't take mental fortitude. I need to think this way. I need to think this way. I need to think this way. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what mental fortitude is to me, right? It's like you sort of like pound yourself into thinking a certain way.
Yeah.
Where when you do breathwork, you can get in different states. And especially, we call it like a hypnotic state. You can literally draw activity out of your prefrontal cortex. That's what happens when we're in the ice bath. We're drawing activity out of the prefrontal cortex, and we're just letting the activity sort of transcend more in the brainstem, and you don't have to associate with the things that are happening so much there.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, man,
I know, because you've heard of some people being like, I smoke weed to get rid of my anxiety. I'm like, wait, what? What does that mean? Mine would spike.
Yeah, it causes
right.
But then it's
I can't sleep if I smoke weed, for instance.
Right. For other people, like, I can't sleep without it.
Right. Most people go to bed with it.
What the hell is going on with that kind of
it's the
different mindsets, I guess. I don't know.
So cool.
We'll mix Wim Hof with it.
I mean...
Experiment.
I have to say that's... You're not
science.
To do...
Oh, you're not supposed to. I thought it was for science.
Listen, you can get so...
Science. Yeah.
When he did the... I talked about a little bit of the seminar.
I would assume it'd be way too intense.
I'm sure Wim's gone into way more than cannabis for this kind of training. I'm going to assume that there's...
I bet he's a dabbler.
He's
not
dabbler.
strict. But
He's a dabbler.
He doesn't... as far as I know, he does zero drugs. He doesn't do cannabis or anything. Yeah, honestly. Very honest.
Wow.
He'll drink some beers. I've drank beers with him. But,
man, I thought he would have been like
no,
off in the psychedelic
he doesn't
spectrum,
need to.
like Rogan.
He doesn't need to, because just imagine. I mean, we've just started doing this stuff, right?
Right.
And we're like, this is the shit.
Yeah.
And can you imagine if you've been doing it for 30 years?
He's like, why would I even need to?
Yeah, why would you
do DMT?
I think about it a lot. Like,
why would I need DMT when I could just breathe?
Ooh, that's right. Because you could be releasing DMT.
Right.
Shout out to DMT Quest. He's trying to figure it out. But you could be releasing DMT. So what happens then? Like, you can do this stuff on your own, but the great thing about it is you can snap out of it. So you know what I mean? Like I'll watch my HRVs, for instance. Like if a dog barks, or if I get distracted, like so I'll be at a 10, you know, as far as HRV. Like I'll be at the bottom, like my breath pattern is just the same. I'm in the 30s. My breath pattern is just bouncing, you know, the same. And then if something happens, I can still snap right back out of it. So I don't have to...
you have control. You can't... Once you're bad tripping, you can't get out, bro.
That's the scary part.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
If you use means outside of your own physiology, then that's the catalyst. Not your own.
The other benefit, it's not $20 a gram. It's air is free. For now.
$20
Mark hasn't been to a recreational center in a while.
What are you smoking for $20 a gram?
It's the cost of meth, bro.
Yeah. I didn't say what I was smoking.
Oh, shit.
I was dabbling before. I was a dabbler.
It's legalizing out, Mark. It's like, it's basically free.
Everything's legal now.
They just made it legalized in Illinois. Good job, Illinois. You did it. They said the lines are around the corner. It's been like, it's this month they legalized marijuana, recreational marijuana.
But I did have a conversation because I quote unquote dabbled a lot growing up, a lot. So, and I was talking to someone else that dabbled a lot, but I was explaining about the Wim Hof thing coming up. I was like, you could literally get like high as fuck, body high, you get all these sensations, like you were saying. But one, it's a healthy way to do it compared to what we used to do.
I think so.
And you're chasing that high and that stimulus anyways, because afterwards you get such a good, whatever meditative state or however you like to view a high experience.
Yeah.
But you can literally get there quickly.
Yeah.
And you can go about your day and not be completely cracked out or wasted.
The best part is snapping out of it. You can just belly breathe. But
maybe that's why Wim doesn't need to do all this, because if he knew how to get high on his own supply, which is the quote from him, it's like, why would you try to do a cheaper high which has like a huge hangover, let's say, right? Like you could just get high all the time and then you're more productive, more energy. Why would you go and let's smoke a joint and you're like, oh, I'm groggy, I can't get out of it. I need to do all this breathing to get back to normal because it's not as fun. I don't know. So I'm guessing that maybe he doesn't need it.
Well, I do think smoking is pretty mild, and it does aid to meditation in some cases. But yeah, I mean, he's got the energy of a 20-year-old, and he's so funny, and he's so everything you ever
see.
How
old is he right now? About
I don't know, like 165.
Yeah, he's like Baby Yoda and shit. He doesn't know. He's like Wim's 400 years old.
Probably 400 years old.
Not really sure where he came from either.
Yeah,
no birth certificate.
No,
Wim, they just found
That's
him. Found him in an ice block.
Yeah,
he's still alive. Fucking Encino Man over here.
He was a caveman they unthought. He's like, comes out like, the horse dance, motherfuckers. I've been in there doing this shit.
Encino Man.
Yeah, amazing.
Oh, man.
So did we do it? What's the podcast? No.
We're at a Joe Rogan pace here.
Are we?
146.
We're hitting records for the Fix Fit Guys podcast.
We did it.
Well, it's almost 6. Yeah, it's almost 6.
That's pretty good.
I gotta go. Andrew's gonna be pissed.
Okay. We can wrap it up.
Mark's gonna get it.
Is he?
I was trying to. We still gotta get on the mats.
Your flow is gone.
Yeah.
I want to learn from master, Professor Lukas.
Oh, I can't wait to I have a nice thing that I teach that's butterfly sweeps. I sit in a butterfly. That's usually because it's the best because I travel a lot, and so it's the best way to start. Is like, don't attack somebody. Just let's start sitting crisscross applesauce, and then I see what they're gonna do, and so I got Marcelo Garcia's online school. I got Roger Gracie's online school. I watched everything I could watch. Roger Gracie's is amazing, by the way. His move videos are like less than 2 minutes each. Nice. He shows the move once, and he doesn't even. Can you believe he doesn't re-show it? He doesn't even re-show the move. He's like, "This is the move." Yeah, like, did you need to know more? I showed it perfect. And so his is awesome, and Marcelo Garcia's is the opposite. His are like 15 minutes, but it's like 3 rounds, but so I developed this sitting guard that of course everything's passable and beatable and stuff, but it's very there's very few holes in it, and then when I teach it, it's like 36 sweeps in one, because all we do is pay attention to the principles.
Yeah.
So you forget about all these sweeps
I love that.
and then you just these 3 principles, and then if they stand up, I got the butterfly effect, which is that would be like the advanced class. So I teach the 36 sweeps, and then I teach the butterfly effect.
Oh, damn.
Dude,
yeah. Yeah. So
right when you told me that, I was stoked, because that's the one thing that I do use is because I have big legs, and butterfly's my game. You know?
Oh, it's such a great game.
Or I want it to be my game. I can't say it my game, cause
it's so good.
For white belt, I don't have a game yet.
There's a few guys where you have to like I had to drop to X guard on a couple of guys or single leg X, because they're just too proficient at like pushing you down. But when I did figure out the butterfly effect and like what people did when they stood up, because if they stand up, then it's different, you know. It felt so good. It's such a fun feeling, because I wanted to go to I was living in near San Francisco. I wanted to just go to like a park with lots of hobos and like sit at the top of a hill in the park at like midnight and just wait for hobos to approach me and just send them down the hills. That's still my dream. I've never done that. And it's probably rude.
Were you high during this time? What'd you tell?
That's right.
When you had this idea.
Oh my God! But you feel it's so nice to feel confident in
that you
in
can
a sitting
sweep
position.
Anyone and throw.
And of course, we're not talking about strikes, because if somebody could strike, you should not be sitting down.
Yeah.
Should not be sitting in butterfly
Jiu-jitsu
guard.
only.
They'll knock you out. Yeah. But in jiu-jitsu, the butterfly sweep is
last question. Equally as effective gi no gi, or does it matter for your principles of the butterfly?
Oh, so you just have more options with the gi.
Okay.
But yes, I certainly teach this gi-less. I absolutely teach this gi-less. You just have less options.
Awesome. But
it's amazing. You know.
Maybe that's the next seminar.
Oh, let's do it. So fun.
Set it up.
Breathing and the butterfly effect.
Let's just do it. Let me just teach you. We'll just do it first.
Yeah.
Like, forget this. We'll just do it. Next time we all get together or whatever.
I have a spot now.
Do you know where to go for this? Yes.
Yeah, I have a spot. I know a guy.
You have like a tiny Brazil in there.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You have like a
Brazil.
full Helio Gracie has blessed your place.
Man, we're gonna get the photo up. It's gonna be good.
Oh,
that'd be awesome.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, man. Cheers.
Brothers. Yeah, it's been so good.
Good shit, man.
Shout out to Connor.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Oh,
Connor.
all sponsored by Connor.
Proper 12.
Proper 12. And the ring. What was the ring?
Oh, the Aura ring. There you go.
Boom.
I'll send you a link. Send you a little affiliate link. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, man. Thanks for coming by.
You bet. Oh, dang. Back to
he's still flexing.
You got to stop burning.